Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. You're probably all familiar with the saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Today, that's what we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to start off by disagreeing with that. Typically, I think most people would find that a very agreeable, accurate statement. You know, maybe something, just a good general statement to live by. But I actually think it's very counterproductive. And here's why. So if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, right? Okay, well, the idea there is quite simple. You know, if you're not going to say something positive, it's probably not worth saying. But I think that in the big picture of things, when you practice that, you tend to take it as an opportunity, and it becomes a missed opportunity to communicate. It's almost avoidant. What's the word for a person who doesn't desire to communicate? They don't like controversy
Confrontation.
and confrontation. Exactly. It's very anti-confrontational. So yeah. So I think the huge downside to that is a lot of people will be like, okay, well, consider yourself lucky. I have a lot of things I want to say to you that are very mean, but I'm not going to say them. So instead, I'm just going to walk away. It's like, ouch. No, absolutely not. Horrible reaction, because really you should find something nice to say and then communicate through that problem. What do you think, Dan?
Right. Well, a big thing is we talk about having great communication, and that might be sharing something that may be confrontational. I think the saying, though, the initial saying is the right idea. It's just said in a way that doesn't bring the right message across. I mean, the message is basically being polite. So I feel like this is often said in homes with your mother, saying, hey, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Basically, because you're probably going to be impolite about saying that. But maybe what she actually should be saying is, be polite and express how you're feeling in a nice way.
Well, that makes a good point, because the second half of that, I feel like, is really, that's where it leads people astray. Don't say anything at all. Like, a more appropriate way to word that would be is, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything that's not nice, right? And it leads people down a path of don't communicate at all. Don't say anything at all. No, absolutely not. Like you're saying, communicate your emotions. You're angry about something, you're upset about something, you're hurt by something. You need to say that. You need to address that, especially if it's a friendship or a relationship with your parents or an intimate relationship. Pushing these things off, it's not good. It destroys relationships. Of course, there's always the possibility that, maybe you're just going to wait until you have something nice to say. But I think realistically, we realize, everybody as human beings realizes that, if you don't have anything nice to say right now, you're not going to have anything nice to say 30 minutes from now. Like, yeah, right. Sometimes it's good to take some time and think about it, work through it, and then have something nice to say. But usually you still have the same grudge that you had 30 minutes ago. It's like, no, you need to address it. So the whole idea of don't say anything at all is a very misleading and poor action to take. Like, no, bring it up. Say it in a nice way, but bring it up. Absolutely. Like, hey, I'm upset. I'm hurt. I'm angry. And here's why. You hurt me,
It's one thing to look out for if you're quick to anger. It's like, hey, don't not say anything at all, but hey, maybe you have to steam off a little bit, because what you're going to say, it will be impolite.
But again,
not come across nice, or not come across when you're angry. It's not easy to work with you when your emotions are overriding you.
Yeah, that's true too. Maybe you do need to step back and take a couple deep breaths, but I still think ultimately most people are still going to have the same You know, they're going to have the same thing they wanted to say initially. You know, 10 minutes from now, they're still going to want to express that same, you know, thought or sentence. So yeah, you might need to step aside and decompress for a minute, but again, it's like, no, you should not avoid communicating. Absolutely not. I mean, I don't think there's anything worse you could do in any situation. I don't think there's anything better to do than to communicate, no matter. I mean, even if you communicate anger through a very harsh way, yeah, it's bad, it's hurtful, but like, at least you guys are communicating, and there's other subtle messages you can get from that communication. Wow, my partner only knows how to communicate angrily. Probably not someone I want to be with, or something like that, you know? So, did you have any final thoughts, Dan?
No, except, I mean, it's like, hey, you know, maybe address, I mean, it should be addressed now or later, you know, if you're quick tempered, maybe a little bit later, but it's like communication shouldn't be avoided. And that whole saying, right, you might learn that from childhood. And this might cause people to lean towards being doormats. You know, you need to communicate, or to stand up for yourself. You need to be able to communicate in situations,
Yeah.
where it might not seem like you're not being, you know, nice.
So here's the message. I mean, ultimately, true, you shouldn't say anything that's not nice to say, but don't avoid communication. You know, to not say anything at all is definitely the wrong course of action. And sometimes the feelings you're feeling, sometimes it's very hard to express them and communicate them in a way that isn't harsh. Sometimes you just have to be matter of fact. I'm hurt right now. Well, that implies that someone hurt you. And if you're telling that to your partner, they probably know it was them, or they probably know that you're politely pointing a finger in their direction. But the idea here is communication comes first, always. It's number one. And then, of course, effective communication. You always want to build on top of something. So communication, then you make it effective, and you make it loving and understanding and open to what they have to say back to you, etc. So don't avoid conversations or things that need to be talked about, and don't what was that word? The one at the beginning. Gosh.
Confrontations.
Don't avoid confrontations or controversy. That stuff only comes back later.
But be polite about it.
Yep. Always, everything through love.
That's right.
Thanks, guys.